I am fantasy and paranormal romance author Leslye Penelope, and welcome to My Imaginary Friends, a look behind the scenes of an author mapping the worlds in my head and making them a reality. Hello friends, today is Saturday, May 25th, 2024, and this is episode 240 of My Imaginary Friends. I'm Leslye. As a reminder, you can sign up for the Footnotes newsletter, which includes the show notes for each episode, as well as inspiration, strategies, and ideas to help you grow as a writer. And that is at myimaginaryfriends.net/footnotes. When you sign up, you can choose to become an imaginary best friend for a few dollars per month and get access to premium posts, which are long-form craft essays, as well as quarterly workshops and discounts on my courses and my author coaching. Please join me there. So this week's best thing is Daughter of the Merciful Deep is out in less than a week, which I guess is like next week's best thing, but it's still this week's best thing because I'm preparing for it. And by preparing, I mean I'm trying to do some posts and not forget to promote the book. Like I had these lofty, grand ideas of like all of these things I was going to do and outreach I was going to make and it all fell apart. But I'm very excited about this book. It's getting really good buzz. This is my first book that has been reviewed by Publishers Weekly, Library Journal, Booklist, and Kirkus. Those are the big four trade publications. 2 of them gave me stars. They were all positive reviews. There was just a mention in NPR. That was really great. And yeah, there's been really good buzz. Every time I actually do post about it, I get people who are excited to read it. And so I feel really good about it. I'm so excited about it. I can't wait for it to come out. I can't wait to hear the audiobook, which I haven't. I don't usually get to hear it until it comes out, especially with the traditionally published books. With my self-published ones that I sell the rights to, sometimes I get early access to it. But yeah, we have the same narrator who did The Monsters We Defy, Shayna Smalls, who won the Audio Award for Best Fantasy Audiobook. And I loved her performance, and I cannot wait to hear what she does with Daughter of the Merciful Deep. So yes, that is super exciting. I usually do a pre-order campaign for my books, and I had intended to, and I don't know, I've just been all over the place lately. But this week I was like, oh wait, I'm doing a bunch of events and I need some swag. So I designed the bookmark, a postcard, and a sticker. I ordered them this past week, so they should get here in time. Actually, the postcards should be here today. I got to go check the mailbox. So let's do a pre-order giveaway / release giveaway. It won't end at the pre-order date, basically, since we're like a week out. I will put the link in the show notes since I have not created it yet in order to announce it, but there will be a form. So if you've pre-ordered it, if you have requested it from your library, if you already have it, if you've got an advance copy, or you hear this and you already have your copy of the book, upload whatever proof I will ask for, and you will get a swag pack while supplies last. The thing about like swag like this is you don't know exactly how much you'll need. Now, I don't have any more of the Monsters We Defy swag. I actually ordered some more bookmarks for the Imaginarium Book Festival because I had run out of Monsters bookmarks like a long time ago. I ordered some more Song of Blood and Stone. I still have a lot of, is it Whispers or Requiem? One of the books, you would think it would be Requiem, but I ordered way less. I think I have a lot of like Whispers of Shadow and Flame bookmarks left from like 8 years ago. So that's why swag can be, and that was, I know why. I had double because I accidentally got glossy and I didn't want glossy, so I ordered matte. That was on me. My point is that ordering swag and knowing how much you need, and then you just have it around and it's here forever, can be irritating. So I didn't order a ton, but I can definitely order more if I need to. So if you are interested in the swag, check the show notes for the link to sign up and receive some. And it's international. You know, an international stamp is much cheaper than shipping books internationally. I wish I could do more international giveaways, but the cost is like more than the cost of the book to ship it to most countries. So that is prohibitive. But the swag as long as I can fit it in an envelope, and I always make sure to either buy the right size envelopes or make sure the swag fits in a regular envelope. It's not too heavy or bulky, so I can put an international stamp on it and be on my way. My writing update. So the Book of Secrets, which has been the book that I was working on for my proposal, has been through several rounds of edits with my agent and is with my editor. So we'll see if she wants to buy it, or if she can get approval. It's a whole process at the publisher and what that looks like, but that's out of my hands, off my plate. I'm really happy with the proposal. I'm really happy with that book. It is my 1999 paranormal thriller Y2K time travel novel. It's a lot of things. Maybe it's too many things, but it sounds fantastic. I'm super happy with it. So yes, that's good. And the other thing I was working on was a short story for an anthology. And I sent that to an editor to just get another set of eyes on it. So that's just about done. That's due in a couple of days. So I will be working on that this weekend. And the past couple of weeks, I've been working on my brand new idea. I'm not quite ready to share the idea yet, but I did want to talk about the generation of this because it's coming at me differently than other previous books are. And I'm building it slightly differently. It's like the same process, but it feels different because I guess every book feels different. It's a brand new idea that is different than any idea I've had before, while also being related thematically. So I was telling someone this the other day, like, I feel like I'm always writing about the same thing in different ways. I'm always concerned with the same themes, although over the past 9 years, it'll be 10 years next year that I've been publishing, that theme has grown, maybe matured or developed in different ways. And so it's not exactly the same as what I think I was talking about in Song of Blood and Stone, my first book. But the past 3 books, so Monsters, Daughter, and then this new idea, have been playing in the same playing field, searching for the metaphor. So I create in a program called Notion a research log to catalog all the research that I do for these books. And so I started that with The Monsters We Defy. And so whenever I go to a website or book, documentary, PDF file, JSTOR article, newspaper article, I make an entry in this database. It's basically kind of like an advanced spreadsheet, if you're familiar with Notion. And there are certain resources that I had for Monsters that I went back to for Daughter. And similarly, there are certain resources that I had for Daughter that I find myself going back to for this new idea. It is a new world. I wish I could make it be in one of those other worlds, but the idea comes differently and the magic system has to be a little bit different. And so the world is different. And so I'm creating a brand new magic system and world, but it's still based in sort of the same playing field. So where Monsters We Defy was very influenced by Conjure and like hoodoo, and then in Daughter of the Merciful Deep, there's less of that, but there's still I was dealing with the Orishas, and so a version of the Orishas in the same way that various traditions across the diaspora has their version of them. And then in this one, I haven't figured it out yet because I've only been working on it for a couple of weeks, but there's one specific resource that I've been going back to that I was dealing with in the Book of Secrets in a different way. Yeah, that one. So there's 4 books. 2 of them are basically out and 2 of them are in the Genesis stages. And they're all coming back to the same ideas, but they're really manifesting in different ways. And for me to see that is really interesting. And I wonder how readers will respond, if people will be able to see that, will they read my books and see these threads that I'm dealing with again and again in very different ways. I hope so. It'd be interesting to find out. So this new idea came to me without a plot, without any characters, in the way that the last few books have come without plot or characters. And I've been in that brainstorming stage of just developing the idea. So I started creating this story development workbook. I was using a version of it on my YouTube live streams when I was doing Preptober last year. And then I brought it together for this workshop that I taught in Seattle a couple of weeks ago on romantasy. And so I'm going to be refining it because I'm going to be teaching a plotting workshop in June for the Hampton Roads writers. It's an online workshop, so if you are interested, there will be a link in the show notes. And I'm sort of developing, okay, how do you plot a book? Because I think I do want to do like a longer online course on plotting in the same way that I did imaginary world building course. So yeah, the story development workbook. So I'm working through my own workbook as I do because this is my method. I can only teach what I know and what I use. And it is actually so helpful. There's a reason why I do it this way. So I have a mini course that's kind of broken out from the imaginary world building course called the Story Seed, which is basically taking your inspiration and developing it into a vision statement. And the workbook picks up from the vision statement. And so we have, what is the vision for this new book? I'll share part of it to celebrate Black culture and history while being an entertaining, magical romantasy story, which is sort of the goal. So that's my North Star. That's what I'm going to always try to come back to. And then the second part is character assessment. So what types of characters does this story need? And I made a list of just character archetypes that would be in this environment. So the story came to me as a specific environment in which to set this fantasy story. So what kind of people are in that environment? What kind of problems might my main character have? And knowing the subgenre of the story, even though I don't know the character, I just put in sort of tropes, ideas, generic kind of things, a list of possibilities for problems that a character in this type of story would normally have. And then I have what goals might my main character have. So again, just listing out potential goals. And doing this a character started to take shape. So I don't think this is historical. I'm not sure if it's historical or not. I've been kind of going back and forth. Is this a time jump? Is it like two different time periods? At the moment, it is basically contemporary, which does scare me because, I don't know, I haven't been doing contemporaries. The only contemporary stories I have really are the Angelborn books and the Cupid Guild, which are shorts. So I don't know, and I don't understand young people today, and this character is in their 20s, and so that makes me kind of want to, one of the reasons why the Book of Secrets is set in 1999 is because I know what it was like to be, how old was I, 21 in 1999? I don't know what it's like to be 21 now, and I feel like it's so vastly different than it was when I was 21. And this character, I don't actually know how old they are, but they're relatively young. So yeah, I have some concerns about that, which is why I'm not sure the time period yet. But anyway, thinking about goals, thinking about where does my main character end up is another question. And then we go into the world assessment. So what conflicts are inherent in this world? And starting to think about the forces of antagonism in the world and brainstorming what might those look like? Who are the big bads? What do they want? While still not quite knowing exactly what my main character is. What makes this world unique and special? And then I haven't done the log line. So the next step is do the log line and then go more deeply into the characters. But since I still don't have characters yet, I'm still brainstorming the world. And it's like the world is coming to me first, which is relatively rare. As much as I like world building, usually by this point I have a really strong character, and I still do believe in doing character, plot, and world together. So, but the world has come a bit more heavily, and I'm starting to peel away the layers of what this main character would look like. Like, what does she want? Why does she want it? What's her backstory? Where does she come from? I've thought about the love interest. I think this is a mystery story. There's a heavy mystery element to it. But I did spend a lot more time up front thinking about sort of the organizations. So there's a bunch of different organizations, magical organizations in this world. And it was important to me because of the inspiration to delineate them, to figure out what they stood for. Then I named them, which is very early for me to be naming things like that. But it was, for this story, it just felt important to have the names, to have that core. And that brought me to the magic system. And so I've actually been developing the magic system before the characters, which has never happened before. And I think it's just, again, because of the story seed, because of the way the inspiration hit me. So I had names for, developing names for the magic system. What does it do? How does it work? What are the different types of components to it? And that's coming together. I've been brainstorming using the program Whimsical, which is sort of like a digital whiteboard. You can do mind mapping, you can do Kanban boards, you can do a lot of stuff in it. So just visualizing the organizational system of how things work, hierarchies and things like that. And then just all the different types of magic that are here. And also kind of matching that with the research, going back through some things that I had in my research log for Daughter and for Book of Secrets that may not have been used in Daughter the Merciful Deep, might or might not be used in Book of Secrets, since I don't have a full draft of that yet. I just have the first 6 chapters or so. And then start recording all the questions that I have that I still need answers to as I'm building out this world and this magic. Because of the trope that I'm using, kind of looking at what are the universal fantasies? What is the butter in Theodora Taylor's language? So what are the things that people expect from this type of story? Why am I drawn to this? What are the things that I like in this type of story? And how am I going to include those? What version of these things am I going to do? Like, how am I making it my own? How is it going to be something that you haven't seen before, but you kind of know, where it's coming from? Like, you have this expectation as a reader for this type of story. I'm always going to do it differently because I hate doing things the same way as everyone else. And my brain just doesn't work that way. Like, if you tell me I have to do, I was trying to do with Savage City, just, shifters, but then they came out weird as they do. So I do have some concerns about, being derivative, but I really don't, because I know that by the time it is churned up in my brain, it's going to be spit out in a way that is not derivative at all, even if I was trying to be derivative, which I'm not. And this, like, every day that I work on it is new discoveries that I'm making a list of inputs. So movies, TV shows to watch that are kind of vaguely in this realm of trope or subgenre, and books to read. And just discovering things. So finally, I think 2 weeks in, yesterday, I still don't have a strong character, but I was like, okay, this is the type of character that I think for my heroine, my main character, that I'm going to do. And then who are the logical love interests? Who is the worst person for them to fall in love with? That generally helps. Who are the friends? I really want to do a found family again. I want to have this community be really strong. So just listing out archetypes, which I've kind of had before, and just refining it. Then start filling them in with more dimensions, so they're not just this archetype. They are a living, breathing character. It's still super early days, but it's so much fun doing something new. And also balancing it with, like, that shiny object syndrome of, I like it because it's new. It's not hard yet. I don't know what it is yet. But it's also, it just feels so like there's a lot of energy, and things are coming to me relatively quickly. Like, some things I have to pull and strain for. I think Daughter of the Merciful Deep was kind of like that. So far, 2 weeks in, this is a little bit easier. I'm also going back to, I've been re-looking at the NaNoWriMo story, Aster Gregory, and what is it called? The Optimism of Omens, which might change very drastically. I reread some of it. It's actually not bad for a first draft. It's a really clean first draft. And I don't know if that's because I was dictating and then cleaning, fixing the typos as I went, but it's not right. And I think it fell apart because it's not right. I do want to work on that one. I'm working on a lot of things. I'm just trying to be creative and try to push something forward. Work on the things that have energy. And I know that, if I hear back from the Book of Secrets and that moves forward, I'm going to have to shift gears. I'd love to get a full plot of this and outline ready so that I just have outlines. And when I'm done with one, I can move to the next and write that. Like, that's the goal, I think. So anyway, that is my writing update. Doing the world first, I'm trying to think of another story where so much world has come to me before any characters came to me. It is interesting. But like I said, stories come in so many different ways. I've had many character first. I've had many situation first. This may, in fact, be the first actual world first or world prominent story. And that's fun too. And I think once I dive into the characters, it will help me clarify the world a lot more and the plot. I am, like I said, I'm still doing, I have plot notes about, okay, so these are things that can happen. And these are things I think should happen, but it won't be clear until I get actual characters who have names and goals. And I did start brainstorming that yesterday. So if you are in the DC area, I have my launch event for Daughter of the Merciful Deep on June 4th, the day it comes out at 6:30 p.m. That's at Sankofa Video Books and Cafe in Washington, D.C. It's right across the street from Howard University's campus on Georgia Avenue. And yeah, if you are around, I would love to see you there. I will be with Dolan Perkins Valdez, who is an amazing historical fiction author. I was very happy that she said yes to being my conversation partner. I was like, I'm just going to shoot my shot. I know Dolan. I built her website and I took a course with her years ago. But, she is a much bigger name. And I was very grateful that she was willing to help me with my launch event. So that should be a lot of fun. Imaginarium Book Festival is in DC June 7th and 8th, so the weekend of release. I'm returning to that event. Well, Daughter will be there. I will be signing copies. I'll have my other books there. So if you have a ticket, it's been sold out for a long time. So if you don't have a ticket, I don't think you can go. I don't know exactly how that works because it's there's tickets and then there's still availability. So check the website and see what they say. But as far as I know, it's sold out. June 15th, I'm doing that workshop on From Idea to First Draft, How to Plot Your Novel with the Hampton Roads writers. On June 18th, I will be again in DC at Loyalty Bookstore with Ella Stratton celebrating her book launch. And then I will be in Richmond on June 29th with Zio Axelrod, Robin Covington, and Tracy Livesey for a author signing and panel at the Book Bar, RVA. So that's just my June events. Check my website, lpenelope.com/calendar for other events. I'm going to be in New York in August for Brooklyn Books and Booze, which I'm excited about. And yeah, other workshops, other events happening. So stay tuned. In recommendations, my very good friend Inez Johnson was like, you should see The Fall Guy, the movie. And I was like, I have been so out of pop culture. I didn't even know this movie existed. But I went down to Arlington and we saw the movie. She saw it for the second time with me and it was great. It was very enjoyable. It's, you probably have heard of it even if I hadn't. I did like it a lot. So it's kind of a good mix between an action movie and a romance, which is why Inez was even interested because she only lives in romance. She's only ever interested in romance, which is a thing we should know about her. So if it's not romance, she wants no parts of it. In reading, I read all of the Mead Mishap series by Kimberly Lemming. So the first one is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, which was fabulous. We just interviewed Kimberly Lemming on the Ink and Magic podcast. So I will drop a link in the show notes for that because she is fantastic. And her method of writing is so very different than both me and Inez, who both have our own different methods, although they align because we're both plotters. Talking to someone who doesn't plot, it just, it's when you see how someone else does it, how their sausage is made, it's always so interesting. So different. We're all so different. I also interviewed Kelly Armstrong for this podcast. It is the episode before this one. Coming up next in my interview series, I will be, hopefully next week, have the interview with Danielle J. Clayton, which was fantastic and amazing. It is really fun talking to these authors for my Imagining Success series, learning about their different reasons for doing this, what keeps them going. We're all incredibly different, doing the same thing, which is writing books, but writing very different books for different reasons in different ways. Our careers, looking at our careers in different ways, people at different stages in our careers. There's so much that we can learn from each other while also remembering that, our way is going to be completely unique. And it's a thing that I know, it's a thing that I say a lot, but really just driving it home by sort of asking different people the same questions. My question list is basically the same. I do try to, when I hear something, follow the conversation, and everyone's answers are so different. It's been helping me to talk to these people so much. And I've been finding the conversations really amazing. So anyway, that is what's coming up. My goals for this week, it's a week before launch. Keep pushing that cart up the hill. And I've got some more history videos to record about the background and inspiration for Daughter of the Merciful Deep. Keep working on this new idea, working on all the ideas, but trying not to get too overwhelmed. I mentioned this retreat idea. We should have an interest form for our in-person writing retreat, which will be in the beginning of November, the first weekend in November. I am partnering with my very good friends, Cerise Rennie Murphy and Inez Johnson. We're going to be doing this together. I'm so excited for this. So stay tuned for info on that. Hopefully next time I talk to you, there will be something, but if you're not on the Footnotes newsletter, make sure you're on that because I definitely will be announcing it there. And I'm juggling a lot of balls in the air. My whole 10K and 10 days thing that I mentioned in a previous episode, I'm going to try to do that at the beginning of June now. I'm putting things into place for that. So that is also on my mind. But my energy has been ebbing and flowing in different ways. And I'm trying to be kind to myself about that while also trying to get things done. And that is just a constant ongoing struggle for me. Things are in an upward trajectory emotionally. Like there was this Instagram graphic that I saw that says growth is not linear. And it's sort of a graph that is up and down and up and down and then down and then up. And it's an upward trajectory. But sometimes when you think you're up and then you're going to go back down, and you go back up and then you go back down. But over time, over the course of the horizontal axis, it is more up than down. And that has definitely been me over the past year. And just seeing it visualized like that made me feel better. It was just a good reminder that it's not linear. That I will be feeling great and I'll be like, oh, maybe I've turned a corner. And a couple days later, I am just like on the couch crying. And then a couple days later, I have lots of energy and want to do all the things. And so, growth is not linear. It's going to take time and there's going to be ups and downs, but each up is a little higher and maybe each down is a little less low, or sometimes it's not, but then it goes back up. But it's exhausting. Regardless, it's exhausting. So again, always trying to be kind to myself when I remember to do so and not feel guilty about sometimes dropping the ball on things or taking a long time to get back to people. I really am doing my best, and I've remained pretty functional. I'm, getting most things done eventually. What more can you ask? So that's it for me for this week. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and hopefully I will be more consistent with the podcasting. We'll see how it goes. For episode show notes and to sign up for the Footnotes newsletter, get the show notes in your inbox. Go to myimaginaryfriends.net. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Watch the video episodes on YouTube. You can email me at podcast@lpenelope.com. And I would really appreciate a rating or review to help support the show. My Imaginary Friends is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. For more fantastic podcasts, go to frolic.media/podcasts.